Hi everybody, today it's another beautiful day and it's actually evening where we are at. Really excited to have you. As Gifted Gems, we're intentional about creating awareness on autism and more so to give you, you the caregiver, to equip you with education so that you can make good choices. 2, to give you basic skill set support, and 3, to provide psychosocial support for you. And even in light with that, we have a support group. Don't walk this journey alone. We are here for you. You can reach out to us. But that said, today is yet another opportunity to create awareness on autism. And we have a very wonderful guest with us, and she will be telling us more. Have you ever thought about, using a digital platform when relating with your child? Or do you even know that there are digital platforms that you can use to educate your child? This is what we're discussing today. And, just as we say, fasten your seatbelt. You really learn a lot. It's a recorded webinar. And I know we will be learning a lot. Feel free to ask the questions. Once we upload this, comment on our sections, reach out to us, reach out to Irene. I know she will tell us. Okay, our facilitator's name is Irene. She will tell us more on how we can reach out to her. Karibu sana, Irene. And so to begin this, we will start as we usually do with a word of prayer. Then after the word of prayer, maybe it's the first time for some of us to interact with autism. So we will play a clip just for you to understand what autism is. And thereafter, Irene will come on board and I will, in fact, just give you a brief bio of Irene. So let us pray. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day, and we thank you for yet another opportunity to come and just raise awareness about autism. And so we commit this webinar to you, and we pray that you'd guide us and you'd help us. And at the end of it all, we shall give you the glory and all the honor. And for every caregiver out there, may you bless them and strengthen them and provide unto them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. And so, as I've said, it could be your first time to interact with autism. So I'm going to share a clip on what autism is so that you can understand what it is in a nutshell. So here.
Being autistic does not mean you have an illness or a disease. It means your brain works in a different way from other people. Autism is something you're born with or first appears when you're very young. Autism is a spectrum. This means everybody with autism is different and has different strengths. Some autistic people need little or no support, whilst others may need help from a parent, partner, or carer. Like many people without autism, autistic people can be skilled in many areas such as maths or music. The idea that everyone with autism is gifted may seem like a positive, but it can create difficulties for autistic people and their families. Some people with autism find social situations difficult, find it hard being able to make small talk, which can make fitting in and feeling comfortable really hard. Social anxiety can be one of the biggest challenges for lots of people on the spectrum, but many people develop meaningful relationships and friendships. People with autism may respond well to having structure and routine in their everyday life. Remember, autistic people cannot outgrow autism, but symptoms may lessen or change through different stages of life. Autism affects every person differently, and every experience of autism is unique. We all have individual skills, attributes, and characteristics that are as unique as our personalities, and this is the power of neurodiversity.
Okay, so we stop sharing there. I'd like to bring on board our main facilitator for the day, that is Irene. And I just want to read out her bio so that you can know who is working with us today. And so Irene, is a PAGS expert and practitioner. 2, she's a special needs educator and also a psychologist. Irene has 15 years of experience, of which 8 years are in training, facilitation, and project management. Alongside that, there is also community development. Her experience with community services was brought about by her passion of children and is committed to their developmental growth. She enjoys working with children and encourages their creative expression. Irene's approach to her work involves thorough research, detailed planning, and execution, while infusing versatility, creativity, and fun into her work. She's interested in finding different learning styles that nurture the child's skills and abilities. She's also a motivational speaker and writer. So Irene, karibu sana. And I think today is just one of those moments where you share with us a different way of learning through PAGS. So karibu sana, Irene.
As Caroline said, my name is Irene Kitonga. I've been a PAGS practitioner in Kenya, specifically Nairobi, and I have done special education as well. So I want to take you through PAGS. And PAGS basically is an acronym that means profile, assessment, and goal setting. And from that, you can already get the implication as what was shared in the interview. It's a very structured tool, a digital tool for anyone to use. And when I'm saying anyone, I am speaking towards the parents, teachers, support system who are working with this learner. So for the next session, please permit me and understand the terms I'm going to be using. When I say learner, I am talking about the autistic child. When I say support system, it can be anyone outside of the parents, the teachers, any other person who interacts with them and does teach them any foundational lessons. So let me start off by saying that very pleased to see that you're interested in wanting to help your child or the learner build these foundational skills, because it's usually quite obvious at some point they miss some developmental milestones, and the normal trend is you go and seek and for any consultation, you have people who do assessments on the learner and they give you this layout, and sometimes you've visited several people professionals who have given you varied results and varied instructions and guidance, and you want to kind of just have one place to combine all of them and get some seamless structure where you can be able to connect and use all the tools that you've been given. And this is where PAGS comes in, because the one thing about PAGS, apart from it being a digital tool, so you can upload it from wherever you are, on your phone, on your laptop, when you're traveling, if someone else is doing the targets instead of you, it's still going to be accessible to them. For us, we are just cognizant of the fact that every child learns in their own way, as shared in the video, which means it's on us to figure out how do they learn and use the tools, use that way of learning to help them build their foundational skills, and also help them, challenge them so that they can be able to grow in terms of their skill set and not only just learn basic skills, but, grow and advance in their skill level. So with that in mind, PAGS was started by the founder, Felicia. And you'll get more information about her and how it started in the website when Caroline provides. So she's been consulting and is constantly consulting with educational psychologists, with academicians, researchers, to be able to make sure this tool is always relevant and up to date, whoever is using it. And we do know there are tendencies of, you feel frustrated of, I see there's a developmental gap, but I don't know how to start to make sure I can start working on making them build that skill set. And this is where PAGS comes in. You're able to get to even manage your frustrations and the frustrations of the child as well, because they are also struggling and they do understand that I want to do this, but I'm unable to do it. And for you, you want them to also do it, but you don't know how to translate it in a way for them to be able to understand the instruction and go ahead and do it. And this is what PAGS does. It does a lot of merging where it is not isolated. And maybe just as a disclaimer, PAGS can be done by itself, but it is recommended that you do it together with their education plan, their lesson plans, whatever other plans you have that the learner is already going through. PAGS seamlessly integrates into this. So with that in mind, what exactly does PAGS do? So PAGS, as we said, is a digital tool, and it helps you, the teachers, and any other support system support the learner in being able to document and implement any targets that you have in an accessible way that is manageable for you to understand and also for the learner as well. And it has brought a lot of benefit for parents who are using it, and it's still something that keeps on getting developed in any other way. So with PAGS, it was formed 4 years ago, and it was based on the need of, I want my child to be able to learn these fundamental skills. And we did realize that there were 4 main areas that could help build the learner to have basic fundamental skills and to build upon them. And if I can give you a visual, use PAGS like the way you'd use a ladder. You never climb the ladder from the top. You never climb a ladder from the middle. You climb the ladder from the bottom. And that is the basis of PAGS. You will start by doing profiling the learner. And the person who's doing this profiling is the parents, because they know what they've been observing, the teachers, if they are available, the educational psychologists, if they are available then, and any other person professional who is supporting this learner, even a shadow teacher if the child is being homeschooled. So with that in mind, you will do an assessment, and there are different levels. If you are still starting, you just do your name, your learner's name, what do they like, what don't they like, what are things that maybe trigger particular behavior, have they been diagnosed, are they undiagnosed? If they have, you select it, and that in itself, the system just keeps in place, and you can always update it. It's never a fixed document. It's actually a living document where if you want to add something more into their profile, well and good. If you want to make it something even extra fun where you can take their picture or you put a favorite thing that the learner really likes using, you can put it as part of their profile. And because we know how sensitive that information is, please bear in mind, we only use the information as a general, anonymously. So we can be able to use a graph and be able to look back and say, these are the number of learners who are using PAGS right now. These are the scope on neurodiverse that we have. And like, we only use it as an overview. So if you are apprehensive about your data protection, please keep in mind that is something that PAGS is very cognizant of and is very vigilant on maintaining. So we get into the PAGS. Now we have already profiled, we go into assessments. So we assess on 4 main areas, and that is communication, self-regulation, cognition and learning, and social awareness. And with these 4, there's a plethora of skills that someone needs to learn. And from here, I can say with communication, it can be broken down in terms of listening, following instructions, and it goes into such a big array. Same for the others, self-regulation. This is talking about emotional regulation. And you do know there are some things that will trigger them in terms of maybe having an outburst or and with that in mind, it's something that even as you're answering the questions, you keep in mind, not only are you thinking about, let me give an example here. How does your child perceive meeting new people? So you can do it in a range of 0 to 10. And from there, you can be able to know, do they react this way frequently? Meaning most of the time, all the time, none of the time, or never. And from there, when you're done finishing all the questions, you'll even also have had time to really deliberate and think through. And you'll even have a clearer picture in your mind of the learner or the autistic child, on a better picture of what they prefer, what they don't prefer, what are things that trigger them to a particular behavior, what do they like doing. If you find they're so hyper-focused on one thing, that is going to give you more insight on who he or she is. And that's something that I really find parents and teachers and the other support system, when they're answering the assessment questions, at the end, they're usually like, oh, I never thought that I would factor that in. I didn't realize how often it happens or how rare it happens, or maybe he's usually more neutral at this point. So it does bring awareness to the teachers regarding the teachers and the parents and other support system on more about the behavior that they normally observe in that particular learner. And that's the one thing I love about PAGS. It's very inclusive, and the questions are very, there are many, let me say that, because we want to create a very clear picture on the child, but they're essential because it gives everyone time to think through the question on how often do you see this behavior, this action, this result after a particular time. So no, that's actually one of the things that PAGS has been very intentional on. Then we move to G and S, goal setting. So once the assessments are done, what happens is you receive possible strategies that you are to select, and possible goals that they are supposed to be attaining. So here we mean that you're given several options based on your results, which you'll be able to see. These are the options that you are to choose from. And from those options, you choose one. And the choice is on you, meaning you see which one you can most likely achieve, so that you can be able to tick that off and say that foundational skill has been achieved. Yeah. And as I said earlier on, PAGS is not a tool in isolation. It always works in tandem. So if your child is having a lesson plan and you already know the subjects that they're in, it is going to be working seamlessly into it. And this is because PAGS is not a curriculum. Let me just make that very clear. It's not a curriculum. It's actually just supposed to help on the fundamental skills. When it comes to giving instructions or listening to instructions, when it comes to order, when it comes to planning, when it comes to managing their emotions, when they meet new people, go to a new place, if they're not feeling well, do they even mention it? Those are very key things. And those examples I've just given you are things that you find in every situation. And that is what PAGS is examining against the curriculum that they're going through. So if you're working in tandem with the teachers, you can tell them, okay, fine. So the target for this time is taking turns talking. And if your teacher is on board with going through the PAGS, populating the PAGS tool with you, they will be more cognizant of making sure that they're able to monitor how often that happens. So as you can see, you can plug it in anywhere. You can plug it in school. You can plug it at home. They can join you while you're making dinner, or you're making the bed, or you're cleaning the house, or when you've gone to visit people. It's very practical ways of implementing these strategies. So do not feel afraid if it may sound like they're big strategies with big targets and big, you have to have done this by this time. PAGS paces itself. So that's why the strategies are always broken down to the smallest of targets, because it's like the ladder I mentioned. You start at the bottom, first foot, second, your next foot, and like that, and like that, and like that. And making sure that we are actually not pressuring the child to finish just because they have to. We want them to finish because they can. And that's the most important thing when it comes to PAGS. all these targets are to make sure, can they be able to identify emotion before they are able to regulate the emotion? Are they able to tell what a friend is before they can be able to start becoming more assertive when it comes to people who might not be their friends then? These are all skill sets that we keep in mind, and that is what PAGS brings to the table. And because it's digital, you can do it anywhere, like I said. And the other asset is it always records everything that you're doing. So you're the one who's inputting. You can put it in terms of taking a picture, uploading a video, even uploading a document. Maybe they were using the computer for that particular target, and they just typed it in, and you can upload it. And well and good, that is evidence. So by the time a particular period is done, you'll get a report. And from that report, you can be able to even present it to the educational psychologists or the teachers, and you can look through it and be like, okay, with this target that was this way, this is how he or she has been able to grow. You can see there's been movement, or there have been no movement. If then there's no movement, why so? Do we need to change the strategy? If so, there are other strategies that are there. Now, the additional thing that PAGS has done nowadays is because we are cognizant that you're not using this tool in isolation. The child is going to school, interacting with people, the other maybe classes that the child is going through, all those are incorporated, and you can upload them. You can even modify or add onto a strategy, just so you can make sure it goes in tandem with the 4 areas that I had mentioned then. And we are seeing results of parents feeling more confident on how to contribute to building this foundational skill. And they have documentation that they can present to other professionals, to schools, if schools want to see what they've been doing before they're being introduced into mainstream or in any other institution. And we look forward to seeing these children who are still using PAGS become very active members of society. We do see it, we believe it will continue being so. And for us, that is what drives us to be pushing for PAGS being in every parent's household who needs that support, who also would, when you're going to speak to a professional, you can actually refer to it in terms of, this is what our targets are, this is what has happened so far, these are the reports, what is your advice again about it? And you can justify your reason of why you've made a particular decision. And that basically is PAGS in a nutshell. It sounds, of course, if you want to do individual sessions or consultation, please do reach out. We are taking parents, both who have kids in mainstream and who are being homeschooled. We are also training teachers in schools as well, so that they also feel confident. And we're getting very good reports in terms of it has broken down how they teach, how they share instruction, how they go about doing a particular need when they're dealing with their neurodiverse learners. And with that in mind, I think I'll close by saying we normally have 2 separate costs. There's a license fee that goes for 10,000, and the other one is a consultation fee, which includes onboarding and monthly support from our Kenyan practitioners. And that is it from me, Caroline.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much, Irene. That is so informative. And yes, I think for many caregivers, this is something new to us, but it's something worth learning about and knowing about. Thank you so much. I have a few questions. Just starting from where you have ended, is the 10K per month, is it one of fee or per month?
So the license fee is annual. So once you pay the 10,000, it's going to be valid for 365 days.
Okay. I know also a caregiver may ask, say I have joined PAGS, I've paid for it for my child. How do I know I'm making any progress, even with those reports? Is there support? If I don't know something, who can I talk to?
Yeah. So what happens is, in a way of tracking your progress, after you have uploaded the evidence, which is maybe a document, a picture, a video, what the system does is it adds it. And then afterwards, you'll do a very short assessment in terms of, these were the objectives of this target. Can you say that he's met it? And by then, of course, we'll have already given you strategies that we normally use. So you'll be able to have been confidently adding that evidence after you've tried it and ensure the child has mastered. And when I'm saying mastered the skill, you have tried it several times. You have also done it with someone new who has not been teaching that strategy, to ensure that they're not learning because of you, but they're learning because of the content. Yes.
Okay. So there will be support along the way.
Yes, there's always support along the way to clarify if we need to go back. We do factor in that not every target will be achieved in a particular amount of time. So if you can hear, I have not given any timeline of every target, because we do understand that sometimes they might have shown they have mastered a skill, and then an incident happens, and we call it regression, where we're starting from square one. And if you're having to start from square one, you choose a different strategy or a different goal, and with different strategies and goals, so you can implement it then. So please be cognizant that time is not something we penalize people on. The system does not put it in time, but we like you knowing an average amount of time to expect some learning.
Okay. Okay. No, assuming I've just heard about PAGS today and I'm interested, can a caregiver just join anytime, or you have specific times that people can join in?
Mm-hmm. No, there's actually no specific intake. Let me put it as that, because I'm pretty sure that's what people might assume. So there's no intake. This is when you have talked with us, we have taken through you through our demo, and you feel that this is actually going to bring value to my child, to a learner, to a school who has neurodiverse learners. And yeah, that's all it takes, is you coming, doing the assessment. We take you through the demo. You want to go with it, buy a license, we onboard you, we train you, support you along the way, and give you the support to make sure you can confidently continue using the license, even without our frequent support later on.
Okay. Okay, we hear you. So you say with many therapies, normal therapies, we begin and not probably know when the end will be, until maybe the child has picked up in that area. So with PAGS, from your experience, how long do people take on it, or it purely depends on the child? Like, how many, is it years from the results you've seen?
Okay, yes, it's been years. I think I also want to answer another question before I go ahead with this one. So the age that we start this PAGS assessment, the recommended age is 5. Anytime younger, we usually give it time to actually see whether that developmental gap is actually because they're neurodiverse, or it may just be a situational thing. So no, it's from age 5 upwards. Now, in regards to the length, because let me just refer to the video, autism cannot be outgrown, the same as PAGS support is always making sure that they are not going back to the foundational learning. They have mastered it, it has cemented, they're applying it, and they'll continue learning. So in terms of a timeline, it also applies there. The timeline depends on actually the amount the learner or the child is mastering their skills. And there's always a new skill to learn. The same for all of us. We still learn as adults, and it's the same with neurodiverse learners. They are always learning. The thing that's different is we are always adjusting the targets and the strategies. that won't remain the same. It always changes because it's under the assumption that they've mastered this skill. You can't also teach someone who has learned how to write properly to continue learning how to write. It gets boring, it becomes monotonous. Now you challenge them, write longer, write more creatively, write in a particular way. And that's when you see how much their skill evolves.
Okay, we hear you, we hear you. I want to take you back on foundation skills, huh? And I just want to ask you to give us, maybe I'm a caregiver listening or watching this, and I may afford to pay the 10,000, but also maybe I may not afford. So when you talk about the foundation skills, just give at least one example of say, let's talk about behavior. Choose any that a caregiver can follow through.
Okay, I think the best example that usually has varied responses is change of routine. As with any neurodiverse child and learner and adult, routine is what keeps them in check. Any change kind of feels like their whole world has been shaken. And with that in mind, it's very simple in terms of, let's say the learner already has wake up, eat, dress, go to school. If it's holiday time, you can do some TV time. Maybe I go outside. And today, maybe someone needs to go to the hospital and you want to take the child with them, because they can't be left alone, unattended. That in itself, of course, we know what that reaction causes. They are adamant that they want to stick to the routine and they do not understand, why do we have to change life today? Why does that have to happen? Why can't it just remain the same for me? And that is a normal reaction. And it's expected also. Highly routine. Of course, when you give the smallest adjustment, or even if a new guest comes in, or even it can be a new sibling is coming to the house, mom has come to the hospital with another sibling, and they sit here and they're like, wait, what's happening now? And it's a fact that now that reaction that happens after hearing, or because they're processing as they're reacting, let me say that. They're usually reacting maybe as they're processing, or maybe they're just reacting first of all before they process. So where PAGS comes in is first finds out how often does that reaction come when something new changes their routine. Yeah. And from that, you can be able to tell. It gives you proposed goals and strategies. Then what you do is choose even just one strategy and say, I'm just going to try it for this week to see how often it happens. So you can modify how you go about it. It can be, if it's adjusting to a change of routine, you can wake up and then make sure you always support. So even as we are implementing the strategies, you are cognizant of this is where you want he or she to be, being able to inquire why this change is happening without having to overreact instead of reacting fast. So what you do is you even explain it to them. You're like, hi, tomorrow this is happening. Or if it's something that suddenly happened, you're like, this and this is happening. You reiterate it, and you make sure this is something, and you have agreed behaviors where when you feel this way, what you should do, you can even have a zone of regulation of saying, are you feeling red? Red is like the extreme. Are you feeling blue? If it's something blue, what do you want to do? Then you give them options. You also don't give them open-ended questions. You give them options with solutions to choose from. And if you continue that frequently, and that's what PAGS is about, it's frequent usage of this tool, you will notice, I'm not saying big, significant things, but you will notice manageable changes and realistic changes that come from that learner. Yeah.
Okay. We hear you. I like that, realistic changes, because for many caregivers, even a small change, a small positive thing, it's a big win. It's a big win. And I think that's what, for most of us caregivers, that's what we are looking for, just to see that change. And there's that gap between what we want to see and how to get there. And if from what we've discussed, I think that's where PAGS is coming in, alongside the other therapies to get you there. You must have the desired end. So it helps you know how to get to that end.
Yeah, and even as we are orienting you and supporting you as you get used to using PAGS and the strategies and all, we also give you additional tips. What do reinforcement looks like to promote a particular behavior? What does disciplining look like to ensure that they discourage from going to that initial reaction to actually going to the one that is much healthier for them in the long run and for everyone's long run? Because we know also the more, and this is why we even start from age 5, because we also understand the older it gets, it becomes much harder to unlearn. It's not impossible, but it takes more time to unlearn particular behavior. So the earlier you can bring your child in to use PAGS, the better.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'm just looking at it through the lens of a teacher. I've never heard of PAGS, but maybe the teacher has never heard of PAGS, and they're wondering now, where do I begin with this tool? How do I even get to make my students use it and appreciate it?
I think I'll refer to the first statements I was making. PAGS requires several people: the parents, the teachers, the psychologists, the other professionals who are offering support to this learner. And what I would urge the teacher to do is, if they think it's something that will add value in the class or with particular learners, please get in touch with us, because we also want to make sure that the parent, that the school administration feel comfortable with this tool being used as they're being taught the curriculum. And that will be the best chain of communication I would advise right now. Go to the principal. If you need us, come to sit in and actually give you an overview of what PAGS is, ask all the questions. We even invite for the school to have either invite us when there's a parents' day, so we can come and give them an overview, answer their questions, if they have any apprehensions, concerns, if they have any other pending questions, they can express them then. That's how I would advise them.
Okay. And in line with that, are you working with any school, or how many schools roughly in Kenya are you working with PAGS?
Of course, we are always in conversations with schools. We do have one that is called Bloom Gardens. Now, theirs is purely neurodiverse kids, autistic kids. And the director was really excited once he came across our product, and we did train the teachers, and they're currently using it. They do give us more insight. As I said, PAGS looks different to the users. So if it's a school's institution, of course, their needs will be different as compared to if it's with a parent or someone who's being homeschooled, if someone is going to mainstream. The dynamics are very big. What I can say is we are always trying to look for more collaboration with people. If nothing else, we just want to talk to you and give you more insight of the benefits of this tool. I would say we also have a good number of parents who have actually approached us and have used PAGS and have seen the value it is. If nothing else, it makes sure that you're able to be aware of the fundamental skills that they need to build on, and work towards the futuristic goal of making sure they're not only functioning adults, but they're contributors to society in every age they're in.
Okay. Okay, thanks for that. So I think for me, in my overview, for the caregiver, you must be hands-on.
Yes.
So it's not, a tool that you'll start and just delegate with you on the side. You must be hands-on. Then from also what, just picking it from what you have said, the caregiver must be hands-on. It is with the goal, it's possible to train, the people around who are working with the child. I think that also is positive, that you can also train the house help, like now that you have a goal, and with
Yes.
our busy life, lifestyles, when you're away, you can train the person who's with the child so that you can meet that goal. You can also train the siblings, I think, the older ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah, so let me even start from the beginning as you were bringing, just making your observations. So yes, PAGS is very hands-on. The same way you would want to know what has your child done in school, how are they performing, how are they interacting with everyone, even with other professionals, even with the house managers, how are they interacting, how are they bonding. Please know that this makes it much easier. As you're saying, it involves anyone who will intentionally or unintentionally teach them something. Those are the people you involve.
Wow, okay. So I think it's really good, because many caregivers struggle in, to know about your child, your likes. The child may be nonverbal, so it becomes a bit challenging to know more about this child. So if there's a tool that can help break this down and help the caregiver have an understanding of the child, I think it would help in very many ways. And as our caregivers can hear, PAGS is one of it. And a disclaimer, by the way, I'm not doing this to promote. I just want you to know. I just want you, the caregiver, to know that there is PAGS, to know what digital tool can help. And as you get to know, you can make your informed decision in this digital world we are in. So, yeah. So, Irene, I just want to bring the last question from my end, and just to tell the viewers, if you have a question, remember to write it in our comment section, or Irene will give us her email address or contact that you can reach to her or to us. I'll also share. So if you have, make sure you ask us. We'll be willing to have you answered. You can see Irene saying yes, so you're in good hands. So you spoke about a ladder, and I just want to take you back to the ladder. So as you go, as you start with PAGS, do you do one goal at a time, or you can have like step 1 and 2 of the ladder as you go up?
Okay. So they are 4 categories, which I had mentioned earlier: communication, self-regulation, social awareness, and cognition and learning. So you'll be choosing one goal or one strategy, one target per category. Now, you'll be doing these 4 in tandem, so at least you make sure there's progress. Then what you do is, there's even a visual chart in the website where you finish this target of that, you finish this target of, let's say, of self-regulation, there's a next target waiting for you. It changes in color and it shows you, and even if it gives you a report, you'll be able to see how long you've taken with it, and what it even gives you recommendations. So, but the ladder was we usually use it as an analogy just to come to mind on, you don't climb a ladder any other way except from bottom to top. You do not climb it with taking 1 step and then you take 4 steps. No, you do it progressively. You do it in a structured way. You do it in a way where you're trying to minimize moments of regression and make sure you're cementing and mastering fundamental skills.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Irene. I think for me, I don't have any other questions. But as I've said, whoever wants to ask a question, once you get to watch this, please do. Maybe you can give us your parting shot.
The thing about interacting with neurodiverse kids, it's such a a big learning. They make you never assume things that you learned automatically. They make you want to slow down and be like, how do I actually wash my hands? I have to put some soap on my hands, rub my fingers together, top to bottom, open the tap, wash my hands, close the tap. They make you break down the smallest things that we have grown up incidentally learning. And that's something that PAGS always takes you back to. Please know, we never assume the learners come with incidental learning. If there is incidental learning while they're attaining the target, well and good. But how we come in is we come as a blank slate, wanting to know who are they, what makes them tick, what makes them like light up in life, and walking with them as they journey through this world. And it's the best achievement, knowing that even in the smallest change, and they even express to themselves, they even can express to someone else and say, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling scared. That's the biggest thing then. And it might look small if it was for a neurotypical child, but neurodiverse people make you and love life as it is. Things that you always took for granted, you never do. You become more appreciative of them because of the neurodiverse children and learners.
Well, thank you. What a better way. You've said it so well. I do not want to add anything from that. And so, yeah, dear caregiver, you've heard about PAGS today. And Irene, please share your contacts. How can people get to you?
I think when they respond on, we'll just share the video with my email address. I will respond to it as it comes and be able to share more insight, but definitely here to make sure everyone has a taste of PAGS and enjoys the benefits and works with their child and celebrates their child as they're achieving their milestones.
Okay. All right. So please reach out. Our contacts are 0740-697373. That's also our WhatsApp line. You can also comment on the chat section. We'll be able to pick it from there. You can drop an email, info@giftedgems.org. We'll be able to pick it up from there. And also, just pass the same to Irene. We are so grateful, Irene. Thank you for creating time and ably, telling us more about PAGS.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate and look forward to hearing people's reaching out.
Karibu, karibu. So now, dear caregivers, we have come to the end of our awareness today on a digital tool, because we need to go with the times. A digital tool on special needs education. I hope you found that helpful. Let us know. Just interact with us. We'll be grateful. As I said in the beginning, we are very intentional on creating awareness as Gifted Gems on matters autism. We are here to give you basic skill set support, such as today. And we also want to give you, we are providing psychosocial support. We have a support group. It's called the Knit Together. You can get the link on our website, which is www.giftedgems.org. You'll scroll till the bottom and you'll see in Knit Together a link. It will get you right there. You can also just send a WhatsApp on 0740697373 and just request for the link. We'll send it to you so that we can walk with you. It is not an easy journey, but when you're together with other caregivers, you get helped, and there's that strength, in unity. So feel free to join us and to also visit our other social media pages. Every month we have a new topic and we get experts to talk about that topic. We've just finished on animal-assisted therapy. You'll find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. We are there, and of course, YouTube. That's where we post all our videos, all our webinars. So hope to see you next time. God bless you, and have a great time and engage your child. Bye-bye.